Meanwhile, PSG fans won't need reminding they have a poor record when it comes to the knockout stages of the Champions League. Of course, made it through to the quarter-finals this season. However, they've not made it past that over the last 10 years. Pastore has a theory about it. It's what the former PSG player had to say. In the French League in recent years, they have been superior to all the other teams. Many times the games were over at half-time and the pace drops for the rest of the match. That's what is missing in the Champions League games, where you can't stop for a second. It happens because in France, they play against teams that require limited effort. Frank and Jules still with me. Craig Burley joins us as well. Craig is back. Craig, what do you make of this?
I mean, look, in an ideal world, every league would be more competitive, but we know they've had mainly dominance there for quite a few years. But what I would say is, if that was the case, how come they managed to hammer Barcelona at home 4-0? Okay, they capitulated in the second leg. That's a different story. But they still managed to hammer Barca 4-0 at home. They just didn't get the job done for various reasons in the second leg. So it may be a small part of it, but I don't think it's the biggest problem.
Frank, are you buying this?
Not at all. I don't say it's a lie. I just say it's an excuse. First, I want to say that this is a kind of player that I loved and enjoy seeing playing when he was playing and not injured every time or every 3 months. But to analyze what he said, I just want to say why. I have another question. Why Juventus or Bayern Munich, who are also the best team in their country, who easily win most of the game, are competitive in the Champions League? So it works for those clubs, but it doesn't work for Paris Saint-Germain, or it wouldn't work for Paris Saint-Germain. No, we have to find the excuse in another place. And as Craig said, when you're capable to do the job in the first leg, why don't you do the job in the second leg? So it's different. It's maybe a curse, but it's also maybe some players who don't do exactly what they have to do to be better.
But Pastore was in this team, Jules. Surely he knows what he's talking about.
Yes, and I think he has a point in a certain way, by the sense that, of course, it would be much better for Ligue 1, not just for PSG, but for every French club if the league was a bit more competitive. And yes, I think if you have competitive matches more regularly, domestically, then maybe when the adversity is stronger and better in the Champions League, maybe you'll be more ready for it. However, I agree with what the boys have said. I don't think it's the biggest reason why PSG haven't done better in the Champions League. I think there's plenty of more important reasons than that one. And I can also take you back to when English clubs were not doing that well in the Champions League. We used to say that because the league was too competitive. So when it got to end of February and March, in the big games in the Champions League, they were tired. So I just don't think either of the two arguments really work.
What do you think, Frank? If we put PSG in the Premier League, a more competitive environment, will that make a difference?
That might, yeah, that might, of course. But I don't know which position they will finish, because we see so many players in that club not ready to fight, to be warriors at certain points. And the Premier League is a very difficult one with a big intensity in the game, especially defensively, different than the Ligue 1. So again, and as Jules said, I think there are other reasons why PSG couldn't go further than the quarterfinal or the last 16 some years before. So yeah, it would be interesting to see Paris Saint-Germain playing in the Premier League.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN+.